High school sports, we've got it covered. Overtime, sponsored by Wendy's. They got you for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and everything in between.
Hello everyone, welcome to Overtime, your Friday night hotspot for high school football. I'm Scott Leber.
And I'm David Greenberg. We got your Week 2 Friday night highlights coming right up, plus a preview of Saturday's action, and there is a whole lot of it. I'll also spotlight Polo's football team. The Marcos are the state champions of 8-man last season, and they look every bit as strong this season.
We'll also be joined by our studio analyst, Tim Bailey, to break down a key Nick 10 game from tonight. And Lena Winslow coach Rick Aaron will give us an update on those major injuries the Panthers have been dealing with. So let's get into the highlights, and let's start, David, in the Northwest Upstate Illini Conference.
Yeah, the DUBUQUE Rivermen made a road trip to Stockton tonight. The Rivermen lost a great game against Aquin last Saturday. Stockton was also looking for its first win after coming up short in their opener against Milledgeville. The Rivermen, led by junior standout quarterback Hunter Hoffman. On their first drive, he led them into the red zone, then throws it up for his wideout, Gabe Howard, who lays out for the touchdown. That put DUBUQUE up 6-zip. Stockton then led their own march. Caleb Mamazer rolls right for the end zone. It's popped up and picked off by Howard, who just caught the last touchdown pass, and he's finally pushed out of bounds. But Stockton forced a punt and got things even up at 6 on the carry from Liam Hammond. Then the Blackhawks D had Hoffman running for his life in the second quarter. There's one sack. Here's another. Getting that white jersey dirtied up. And the pressure gets to him again, forcing the turnover. But we still went to halftime tied up at 6-6 until DUBUQUE broke the tie, punching it in from inside the 5. That's Bryce Fitsanko. Hunter Hoffman delivered when they needed him. The Rivermen shut out Stockton in the second half and win this one 28-6.
Another NUIC game played out at Harlem. Now, Harlem is Dakota's home field this season, so the Indians played their first game tonight against East Dubuque there. East Dubuque lost its opener last week to Orangeville. East Dubuque looked like the team that had a game under its belt. The Warriors were the better team right from the opening kickoff. Dawson Fay in here takes it, and nobody comes close to him. He'll return it all the way coast to coast, just like that. East Dubuque then goes for 2, and the Warriors will not be denied. Sam Huntington, look at the push, look at the effort, look at the two-point conversion. It's good. Dakota couldn't get much going offensively. Cam Faish will run for about 6 yards on that carry, but East Dubuque defeated Dakota 28-7.
Also tonight in NUIC, Eastland Pearl City defeated Amboy 30-13. There will be more action tomorrow in the NUIC. Milledgeville takes on Forreston. West Carroll plays at Galena, and Aquin will host Rockford Christian. RC has replaced Ashton Franklin Center on the schedule of NUIC teams this season. The
Lena Winslow Panthers will take the field tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock at Freeport's Pretzel Stadium. They'll host Orangeville. The Panthers lost their opener last Friday night at state-ranked Princeton. The Panthers also lost star running back Mari Roby in that game to an injury, and they were without Iowa-bound lineman Jennings Dunker. Lehman coach Rick Aaron joins us on the phone to discuss the Panthers. And Rick, let's start with Mari Roby's injury. What can you share with us, and what's his status for the rest of the spring season?
Mari got really good news based on what was, the prognosis first was down at Princeton. Our team doctor thought that he had dislocated his ankle and broke his ankle, and as it turns out, he has a broken fibula, which is just above his ankle. Recovery time is a lot less than what it could have been, and recovery time is about 3 months. They thought he'd be running again. So not good for us for the next 5 weeks, but pretty good news for him.
And Jennings Dunker, we saw him on the sideline last Friday wearing a walking boot. What's his status?
Well, we got the double whammy on Saturday, Scott. So we found out Mari was done for the season. Also found out Jennings was done for the season. Jennings actually has a broken big toe. Does not know yet if he's going to require surgery or not, but he is definitely done for this season. And he really, at this time, he needs to worry about going to school next year at Iowa, getting whether he needs surgery or not, getting that big toe healthy and being ready to go out there in June.
You've had several practices this week to gauge how your kids have responded to those injuries. Those are two big losses, not to mention starting the season with a loss. Have the rest of the kids kept their spirits up, or has the wind kind of been taken out of their sails?
No, I think I even thought on Friday night down at Princeton that our kids responded real well to at the point when Mari went out of the game. Everybody knew it was serious because Mari just doesn't react like that. So everybody knew it was serious, but it all happened so fast that our kids really responded really well to it. And I was really proud of our kids for the way they responded to that. And really, Jennings has only practiced twice this year with us. And I think the kids have kind of thought all along that we might be without Jennings at that point.
Looking back now on opening with Princeton, there was such a build-up to that game, so much attention given to it. Despite the loss, was opening with an opponent of that caliber still the right thing to do, and will your kids benefit from that game?
Definitely, Scott. You know, we were just happy to play a game. I would not have been wanting to go into week 2 here against Orangeville without having played a game. And you know, we made our share of mistakes, that's for sure. But I was really proud of the way our kids battled. They fought hard, they played hard, and it was one of the harder hitting games I think I've ever been involved in on both sides of the ball. And you know, Princeton, hats off to them. Like you said, we haven't lost many games in the last couple of years, but Princeton is deserving of beating us, that's for sure. They're a great 3A team. You know, some people have them ranked as high as number 2. So I think for our kids to go down and compete like we did without Jennings and losing Mari, you know, I thought our kids should be really proud of the way they hung in there.
Thanks, Coach Aaron, for joining us. I'll tell you what, that is great news that Mari Roby should be ready to go in the fall and play out his senior season.
Yeah, he's a rare talent. I know I speak for everyone when I say we are really excited to see him back on the field. We just won't see him or Jennings Dunker this year. Up next, we focus on the Nick 10.
An all-Rockford battle between Guilford and Jefferson coming up, and Tim Bailey's in the house to discuss it. You're watching Overtime. There are only 2 games in the Nick 10 tonight. One of them had the East Rabs taking on the Belvedere Bucks.
Both teams dropped their openers last week. The Bucks came up just short in overtime against Guilford. Bucks quarterback Justin Dennis. Play breaks down, able to scramble and pick up a nice chunk of yards. E-Rabs running back Malik Gordon gets a couple of nice blocks up front here before cutting it outside and finding the end zone. How about East's big defensive tackle Armani Jackson reading the quarterback's eyes and picking him off. Go ahead, big fella. TJ Beria East out of the backfield here. Where is he? There he is, and he takes it in for 6. The E-Rabs had 3 touchdowns in the first quarter. East rolled to a 50-7 win.
The other Nick 10 game had Guilford taking on Jefferson at WYETH Stadium. Jefferson running back Almarian Bell is a tank. Here he is, 6'2", 245 pounds. Try tackling that. Bell's going to cap off the Jayhawks' opening drive by banging ahead and reaching the ball over the goal line there. The Jayhawks led 8-0 with that score. Atiq Muhammad and the Vikings answer. Muhammad takes the pitch. He covers 15 yards of real estate to the end zone. The Vikings then go for 2, and junior QB Bryce Walker will keep it, and he'll make it in. It was 8-8. Jefferson again, and here's that man Bell again. Rumbling outside, finally taken down at the 6. The Jayhawks then go with their jumbo package with 6'6", 309-pound DeMonte Washington lining up on the wing, and that's the side that Amir Simpson is going to. He is in. It was 14-8 Jayhawks. The Jayhawks will strike again. Nick James throws. Simpson is open, makes the catch, avoids a man, and he is gone. It was 20-8 Jayhawks at halftime, but just like last week, Guilford put together a strong second-half comeback, scoring 22 unanswered points, and Guilford won 30-20.
What were the adjustments that were made at halftime? What got you guys back into this game?
Well, we made a little adjustment on our off-tackle fullback play with our We solidified the blocking on the inside and I sent our wing back to a different level. But overall, the line just secured the inside. To Jefferson's credit, they really smacked us in the mouth to begin the game.
You guys are 2-0. That's got to feel real good after the past couple of years, the way things have gone for you.
Yeah, and especially, coming out of COVID and all that stuff, it's good to see the kids feel, enjoy the fruits of their labor, so to speak.
We'll discuss that game. We're joined now by our analyst this season, Tim Bailey, a former Boylan football standout and the top trainer at Mercy Health, top performers and the best dressed analyst you're going to find anywhere in Northern Illinois. All right, you're looking good, Tim. Hey, I was at the first half of that game. You saw the entire game. It really turned in Guilford's favor in the second half. What changed in that second half?
Well, Guilford made their adjustments. Offensively, they were running the ball up the middle, getting 2-3 yards a pop. Weren't getting anything to the outside. They have some speed guys that we're going to highlight here shortly, but they were just running the ball up the middle, up the gut. And they finally figured it out. Halftime, they came back, made those adjustments, and said, okay, we're going to get the ball in the hands of our speed guys. And speed actually was on Guilford's side tonight.
With Coach D, Guilford's now 2-0. Under Coach D of first year, they were 0-9. Second year, 1-8. Now they're 2-0, like I said. What's the future like for this team?
Well, when I talked with Coach D this morning, my big question was, Coach, what have you done in the last 2 years at Guilford High School? And he told me what the record was. You could hear it in his voice. He wants to win. The guy's a winner. He's won championships at other schools. So he understands the importance of trying to get those kids to buy in to his mission there at Guilford High School. And I think he's doing a good job. I think he's about another year or two away of having, a good winning season over there at the Guilford High School.
Let's talk about Jefferson's offense, because I liked what they did in the first half. They spread it out, and like they're going to throw the ball, and then they run the big fellow, Omarion Bell. So they do have some versatility, some options there. And what do you think of Omarion Bell? I mean, have you seen many kids that size running back in the Nick Taylor?
when you have a kid that size, he's agile. He can drop his center of mass. He's got great feet. Great field vision. I mean, that kid's a tank, and I think, he's only a junior. That's the scary thing, Scott. He's only a junior. So I think, next year he's only going to get stronger. He's going to add some, size to that frame. But what he did tonight was just phenomenal. I mean, the Jefferson offensive line really held the line up to allow him to get through to the second and third level and do his thing. So, my biggest thing was, the big question is, why didn't they continue to go to him in the second half?
Right, and just kind of expanding on that, it was a tough night for them. Besides that, what else do you think they can take moving forward as a positive?
Well, number one, you can't turn the ball over. That's every coach's nightmare. When you turn the ball over, and that's what both teams did tonight. There was a plethora of turnovers tonight. But Guilford actually capitalized the most on the actual Jefferson Jayhawks turnovers.
Tim, they got some outstanding young pieces on Guilford. The young man we saw, quarterback for them tonight, one of their running backs. I mean, they've got some things there to work with, don't they?
Absolutely, yeah, they do. The quarterback, Bryce Walker, he's elusive. He's shifty. He gets out in the open field. He's got great feet, great vision. He only stands about 5'6". So not the size matters, but he's only about 5'6", so he can't, if you look at Guilford's offensive line, they're 6'2", 6'3", 6'4", 6'5", 6'6". So with that being said, it's hard for him to be able to drop back in the pocket and see things over him. So what he has to do, he has to get outside the pocket to create a play. And he did tonight with his feet. Just a phenomenal runner.
All right, Tim, we appreciate you joining us. I do want to get one thought. We showed before these highlights, East winning big at Belvedere, 50-7. A little surprised by that after East struggled last week to put points on the board.
First of all, I want to say congratulations to Coach Griff and the East ERAP high school football athletes. I'm not surprised that they scored that many points. I'm not surprised with the W. Hopefully they did pass the ball a little bit more tonight. But that's expected of East High School. That's expected of Gary Griffin's philosophy over there is that, okay, we lost this one, but we're going to come back next week. We're going to figure out what we need to do right to go out and get that victory the next week.
All right, Tim, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again next week right here.
Thank you.
All right, coming up next, we have a look ahead to tomorrow's Nick 10 action.
Can the Freeport Pretzels build upon an impressive Week 1 performance? The Freeport Pretzels and the Harlem Huskies combined to put up 78 points on the board last weekend in their opening games. They have some offensive weapons for sure.
They certainly do, and they're going to be on display tomorrow afternoon at Harlem. The Pretzels will take on the Huskies. The Pretzels dominated Jefferson last week, winning 42-8. Kyrie Shirley, Xavier Segner, Jamari Adams, and Diedrich Macon are just a few of the playmakers the Pretzels have. The bigger challenge for the Pretzels tomorrow will come on defense when they have to stop Harlem's offense. Last year, Freeport gave up 48 points to Harlem, and James Cooper passed for 318 yards on the Pretzels.
Our coaches, they're going to definitely have us prepared for the game Saturday, so we just got to go out there and execute. And it should be a pretty close game, expecting a really fast-paced game.
Last year, too many mistakes. We did some good things. We scored on the first play of the game, and then after that, it kind of all went down. What's hindered us in the last 2 years are those penalties, those mistakes.
Every quarterback has a different set of skills. What are the skills that James Cooper has that makes him a challenge to prepare for?
What skills doesn't he have? I mean, he's a field general. I got a lot of love for him. I've watched him as a freshman go out there and perform, and to now, he's just an amazing individual, and he's the field general of that team. And he's one of those guys where you gotta mix a couple things up to kind of get him off his balance. So.
That game between Freeport and Harlem kicks off at 1 o'clock. Also tomorrow on the Nick 10, Auburn plays Hononegah at 1. That's technically a home game for the Indians, but it'll be played on the turf at Wyeth Stadium, and Belvedere North and Boylan square off under the lights. That will be played on the turf at Harlem. The Big Northern Conference delayed the start of its football season 1 week to give their winter sports athletes more time to prepare for the season.
Tonight, Mendota and North Boone became the first two Big Northern teams to take the field. They met up in Poplar Grove. Mendota's first possession, they go to the air. Isaac Ortiz has it covered, and he has the football for the interception. Now the quarterback we have been waiting to see for a year and a half. Logan Emanuel going deep, and it's on the money. That's Will Dutch, and he'll take it to the end zone. More Logan Emanuel coming up. And it's going to be another beautiful pass. Different target this time. This one to James Lynn for the touchdown. How about a hat trick in the first quarter for Logan Emanuel? Here comes another touchdown strike. It's Will Dutch again. Emanuel threw 5 touchdown passes in the game. Wasn't quite all gloom and doom for Mendota, though. QB Ted Landgraf here will score on the quarterback keeper, but North Boone beats Mendota 49-7. 6 more Big Northern Conference teams take the field for their first games tomorrow. There will be a doubleheader on the turf at Mendota. In the first game, Oregon will play Byron. In the second, Stillman Valley will play Winnebago. The other Big Northern game has Genoa Kingston playing at Rock Falls. Rockford Lutheran and Dixon are sitting out this weekend due to COVID protocols. Some of the other games around the area tomorrow include Rochelle at LaSalle Peru, Sycamore at Ottawa Township, and DeKalb at Naperville North. Also in 8-man football tonight, the Polo Marcos go to 2-0. They trounced Olden Hebron 56-0. We have more on those Marcos coming up next in our Spotlight segment.
We'll see how the Marcos have become the team that all other 8-man football teams in Illinois are trying to catch up to. You're watching Overtime. If you're a fan of small-town football, eyes on me, because I've got just the team for you. They're the reigning 2019 state champions in 8-man football, and they're not going away anytime soon. Meet the Polo Marcos. Welcome to Polo, Illinois, a town of about 2,200 people. On Friday nights, you can find most of them here, cheering on their state champion 8-man high school football team.
I mean, the state championship game was pretty special. I mean, we had a lot of people there cheering us on. I mean, we played, probably our best game of the year. So, I mean, that was great to go out there and get a championship. It was great for the community and everybody.
To be the team that finally got to say they won a state title and bring home the big trophy, that was something we worked for all summer long, and that's pretty special. I think it was pretty big for everybody, the whole community, for us. It was a lot of fun.
The community they rallied so much behind it. The kids were so excited. It was one of those goosebump feelings as the playoffs went on and you realize we have a pretty good chance of winning this thing. So it was a very exciting time in our town.
Don't be fooled. From the outside, you may think less players means it's an easier game.
Same as 11-man, there's not really much difference for me. There's no special perks for 8-man as opposed to 11-man. I think outsiders that haven't been to a game think of it differently. I think if after people go to a game, they think it's just like 11-man, it's just less guys.
A lot of people think maybe we made the transition to 8-man because we weren't good, but we were good. We've made the playoffs you know, 3 of the last 4 years. We'd had winning seasons. It really came down to just a safety issue with our kids.
With fewer players in the program, underclassmen were having to step up and prematurely play in varsity games.
That just wasn't working for us, and we thought, you know, we need to make a move here to try to make it safer instead of, you know, getting their brains beat in on Friday nights. And when 8-man became a viable option, we kind of went for it.
While it is still good old-fashioned American football, the way it's schemed is unique.
There are some differences that you really have to take into account.
We kept our spacing the same as 11-man, and we went out to a camp early that year. We figured out we needed to widen our spacing out because we obviously didn't have as many guys.
Since I'm a DB, I mean, less margin for error. Like, you know, if you mess up, there's really nobody back there. So, I mean, you got to come to play every play.
The summer before we went into 8-man, our coaching staff did a tremendous job of working all summer preparing for the 8-man game. So there was total buy-in, and the transition was very smooth.
When the playoffs inevitably return for high school teams in the state of Illinois, the Marcos of Polo High School will be looking to defend their title. Be sure to join us each Friday night at this time for Overtime. We also rebroadcast the show Sunday mornings at 9 on Fox 39.
And remember, for highlights and scores anytime, go to mystateline.com. That does it for this episode.
Enjoy your weekend, everybody.
Overtime, sponsored by Wendy's. They got you for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and everything in between.